And wow, a gamble here right off the bat. An onside kick to begin the game. And whistle blown. A timeout here is taken, and it's taken by the kicking team. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter. Tyler Bass about ready to get us going. And off we go from Lincoln Financial Field. On the return, Boston Scott. Now a crease here as he's past the 30. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Miles Sanders, first carry of the game. And he'll work this forward for about 3 at 2nd down.
Well, that's just a pile of bodies there, and that's when you kind of find out who's a tough guy, right? Who can stand up and make a play. It was only a 3-yard run, but for both sides, they had to walk away from that field like, okay, I can stand up when the going gets tough in here.
And he'll be taken down across the 50 at the 45 in enemy territory. On 1st and 10, it's Sanders. Solid running on the carry, but still brought down just inside of the 40. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets them to 2nd and 4.
Well, I think that's what they're going to need to do here in the first half. You've got to take some pressure off of this young quarterback, and no better way to do it than to establish the running game early.
It's a 2nd down run with Sanders. And he gets it down to the 32.
They did tell us they wanted to establish the ground game early, didn't they?
They did, and a small sample size that we've seen so far, but pretty good return.
Yeah, you got to like that. They've strung together a couple of first downs, established what they wanted, the running game. And guess what? They also got their lead guy running it pretty well, too.
On 1st down, Sanders. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
This drive is pretty clear. Almost feels like old school fundamentals, doesn't it? Want to impose their will on the defense. What's that, 5 straight runs?
Yeah, 5 straight carries to start this drive. And like you said, the way it's working, they may just stick with it. The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9. Throwing is Hurts. And that'll be incomplete. Took a pretty good shot as he tried to pull that one in. Couldn't hang on, 3rd down.
Have to give some credit to the defender on that when he read all of his keys perfectly and got a great break on the ball and able to force that incompletion.
The 22 is the line to gain here on 3rd down. Hurts. Yeah, this defense rallies, and they stop him short of the 1st down right near the 24. It'll be a gain of 8, but it'll also lead to a 4th down. They'll try and throw for it with Hurts. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. The Eagles unable to convert there on 4th. And this defense holds firm here on the opening drive of the night. Allen and the Bills now with a 1st and 10 at their own 24. And it's incomplete, broken up. But there is a flag down. Let's see what that's about. And those linemen, of course, can't be more than a yard downfield when a pass is thrown, and they might have been able to call that on a couple of guys there. And the catch made. This is Emmanuel Sanders. And all the way inside the 35 before he goes out of bounds. A big play there on the catch and run. So the big play changes the complexion of things. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the 30. He's got it complete to Stephon Diggs. And touchdown, Bills. Stephon Diggs, 33 yards. And the Bills on just 2 plays have taken the lead. And now Sean McDermott's made the call. They'll go for 2. Allen will try to throw for it. And that is going to be caught. And it moves the lead to 8-0. So they elect to pass there on the 2-point try. Sometimes could prove risky. There it worked out.
Yeah, and I love how you bring up that it can prove risky, because if you get it intercepted and they return it, that's 2 points for the defense, but not on that play.
And here's Scott to return it. And out a little across the 25 to the 27. Already at the line, this Philly offense set to go. And on the last drive, they were in field goal range. They just opted not to kick it, didn't get it. How does that change the mentality this go around?
I don't think it changes much for the head coach, because this is what he preaches all the time. Attack at all times in any spot on the field, and he likes touchdowns, not field goals. Now, your field goal kicker, you've got to make sure you nurse him through and say, okay, don't worry about it. When we need you, you've got to be ready to go. And the team, of course, loves to see points on the board. So let's see if it changes a little bit if they're in the same spot again.
Yeah, we'll see what the decision is here if they get to that spot. On second down now, it's Sanders, and he'll be brought down right around the 37. Well, they're making an effort to get the ground game going tonight. So far, it's working.
I like what we're seeing from the offensive line. They seem to have the leverage going, and they're controlling things and reestablishing the line of scrimmage, moving that defensive front backwards. I also like what the runner's giving us, too. It appears that he's been waiting all day long to get out here and take off.
Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be second down.
That's a really nice, tough run inside, and they gained 5 yards on it. And to be frank about it, most offenses don't expect to get 5 yards on a play call like that. So when they do, they go back to their huddle with a little pep in their steps. They're starting to think that they're starting to dominate the line of scrimmage.
And he stopped immediately there. They'll say no gain on the play there, and now it'll be third down.
Some of these play calls, I think they're a little conservative. But you know me, because it's easy to sit up in this booth, right, and make all the calls and think I'm going to be correct. But I would like to see them open things up, because otherwise this defense is just going to gang up on the run and shut them down.
On third down, they turn to Sanders. And he will be very close to a first down, but I see the closed fist of the referee, and that means fourth down.
Another down on the scoreboard, but the urge to go for it is almost irresistible here on 4th and short. Yeah, I know they're on their own side of the field.
I was going to say.
Normally I would say punt the ball away, but I'm feeling it. I say go for it.
So in their own territory, but they only need a few inches, so they're going to opt to go for this thing. We'll see. Maybe a surprise pass, a run. What will they do? We're about to find out. Fourth down. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35.
Mission accomplished on that throw. Slant, pick up the first down. I like how he just put it on the receiver and didn't lead him on that one.
Happened quickly. Defense, not much they could do. So first and 10 now in Buffalo territory at the 36. Hurts a handoff to Sanders. And some room to work. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Miles Sanders, 36 yards. And the Eagles move back within a couple of the lead. Well, what a first half he's had running the football. Another terrific run there, and this one finds the end zone.
Well, we know he's a guy who's capable of coming up with big plays in the running game, and his offensive line knows it as well. That keeps them motivated, looking for those extra blocks to give him room to run downfield.
And this is caught. So they get the 2 points, and now we're even at 8-8. So 8-8 our score now as he'll send this one away. From his end zone, Isaiah McKenzie. going to go out of bounds on the return. He won't even get this thing back to the 10-yard line.
Anytime you feel the kickoff inside your own end zone, you've got to be decisive about whether you're bringing it out or not. Sometimes that indecision can really cost you. That may have been what happened on that play.
The Bills come to the line to start their next drive. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline, because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you scored points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things there.
A big play here for Buffalo. That one was hard to fathom. They were in the dime. They had 6 DBs back there. They still lost it.
Great word, because I'm right there with you. I don't understand how they couldn't pick him up. But don't be surprised next week early, there's some extra people in the locker room, maybe a tryout or two for those guys who missed him.
Dancing to his left. Now he'll let it go on the run. Deep left side. And he's got it. What a catch on the sideline. Well, that's one of the drawbacks of running the RPO. If those linemen go into run block mode, you can't throw it if they're more than a yard downfield. Finding Knox there, complete. Finding room inside the 40. And he'll be out just a yard or two shy of the 30.
And this has been a nice answer to the touchdown drive against them a few minutes ago, because they've come out and reestablished the tempo. A nice throw there, and they're putting together a very strong drive as a response.
All tied up, 8 apiece with 2 minutes on the clock. We remind you in just a couple of minutes we'll get you to Orlando and our good friend Jonathan Coachman. Coach will run through some of the numbers and the next-gen stats from this first half of football so far. It's Knox, the tight end, making the catch. Allen out quickly here to Sanders. Touchdown! Emmanuel Sanders, 26 yards. And the Bills have taken the lead. Had the option to hand that one off or run it himself, but instead, a really easy, quick pass.
I like the way they made a decisive decision and got it right to the receiver. One move later, he's in the end zone.
And now Sean McDermott's made the call. They'll go for 2.
Check, Mike 57, Mike 57. Check.
They'll try and throw for it. Toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete. Well, split the difference, and they're right where they would have been with 2 PATs. They got the 2-point conversion the first time. They failed there.
Interesting, isn't it? Because the first time you go after your first score, that feels like a gamble. The second time when they tried it again, that felt like, what the heck, right? Because, as you said, even if you miss it, you split the difference, and you're right on schedule at 14 points.
After the touchdown, Bass to kick it away. And that one will bounce out of the back of the end zone, so we will start here at the 25. The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
The last run got 9. That leaves them with 2nd and a yard. Now Sanders. And he'll bring it up here to right at the 40-yard line. 94 yards for him on the ground so far tonight as he has been terrific in this first half. They'll run on first down. It's Sanders, and he'll get it out to midfield. Looks like, yeah, they'll spot it right at midfield at the 50. Now the Eagles will use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop it with exactly a minute to go before halftime. Options galore here, second and a few inches. From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. Quick slant here to Smith. And he's got a first down as the tackle made at the Bills' 30.
That was a nice job there. Quarterback and receiver reading the pressure that was brought. They both knew it was going to open up the middle of the field. Nice little shake and bake at the line of scrimmage. Got right into his route. And the quarterback hit him in stride, and he was able to run free after the catch.
Hurts throw complete to Rager. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. The Eagles will take their third and final timeout as the stoppage will come with 23 seconds to go till halftime. So from inside the 20, here's first and 10 at the 18. From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. And now the clock will stop as he's able to get up and spike it here. They'll throw now on the final play. He's going to let it go deep for the end zone. And it's intercepted at the goal line. Teron Johnson able to pick it. And he will be brought down on what will be the final play of this first half. First half in the books. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. And we welcome you back live now inside the booth alongside Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin, set and ready to rock for the third quarter. Bills with the lead, and they'll get the football first as the second half is underway. McKenzie now from his end zone. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. The Bills come to the line to start their next drive. And Charles, they've got the lead. Put your coaching hat on here now. What's the game plan for the second half?
I think getting the running game going a little bit more, because I thought in the first half they didn't get it moving the way that they would like. They had success throwing.
And all the way home for a Bills touchdown. Emmanuel Sanders, his second touchdown of the night. And the Bills come right out of the locker room and score here in the opening minute of the third quarter. And now Sean McDermott's made the call. They'll go for two. It's complete. And he will get into the end zone to extend the lead by two more.
That was tight right there.
After the touchdown, Bass to kick it away. And the drive will begin at the 25 as Scott is going to stay in the end zone. Already at the line, this Philly offense set to go. And their deficit a little wider than it was at halftime. Does that touchdown a minute ago change the thinking here at all?
I think it does, at least a little bit.
Rush coming, and he's taken down. That was Jordan Poyer, the safety, in for the sack. When you see a quarterback retreating away from the line of scrimmage toward the other goal line like that, usually doesn't end well.
You're exactly right about that. Normally, if they're moving from side to side, they've got a chance maybe to get back upfield. He was trying to shake defenders and extend the play, but it doesn't work out very well for them at all. You need those extra yards on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Now you're digging a hole for your offense.
A big play that time on the catch and run. On first down, Sanders. And he'll maneuver his way forward for about 4. 2nd and 6.
Well, on every play call, you realize it's not going to go for a touchdown. So a lot of your calls are setting things up for maybe later in the game, trying to establish the inside run with toughness now, hopefully get to the perimeter later. And let's face it, you could do worse than a 4-yard run on first down.
And he's got a first down as the tackle made at the Bills' 35.
It's taken a while for this offense to get going, a little creaky at the start, but they're oiled up now. A nice throw there, and they're really putting together a good drive.
So 1st and 10 now in Buffalo territory at the 35-yard line. They'll run at Sanders. This will be a gain of about 8 to the 27-yard line.
That's a really nice job by them picking up the run blitz and detecting it and blocking it and turning it into a nice run. And a lot of times you think if you blitz a running play, you're going to smother it. But a lot of the blitzers, they come in a little bit high. They don't have great leverage, and they're easily blocked and turned to the side.
All that gets him is just a yard, and now it's 3rd down.
Nice job there defensively. A great time to dial up a blitz.
And give him credit under center instead of throwing it away. Actually a pretty good job of getting past the line of scrimmage, not losing yardage. On 3rd and short, going with their tight end. And he's going to get the first down as they bring him down at the 23.
Not too many offenses want to turn down long drives, but when you're down what they are, they've got to pay it off with some points.
On 1st and 10, it's Hurts. He finds his tight end, Goddard. That's complete. That was the 8th play of the drive, so a somewhat fitting pickup of 8 yards.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
122 yards for him on the ground now. He has been a tough man to bring down all night. 1st and goal, and they got to be thinking a chance to get right back into this football game. They'll run with Sanders. And he'll take it into the end zone for the Eagles touchdown. Miles Sanders with his 2nd touchdown of the night. And the Eagles are able to cut into this deficit here in the final minute of the 3rd. Now that Eagle offense will stay out there as he'll go for 2. Hurts will throw. Back in the end zone. Could he get his feet down? No, it's incomplete. After the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. McKenzie now from his end zone. And he'll be stopped right around where he would have been had he gone down to a knee, maybe a yard shy of there at the 24. Bills come to the line to start their next drive. And following that long touchdown pass, a one-play drive last time, see if the defense, you know they're ready. They don't want that to happen again.
And you would have thought they would have been ready the last time. That's what you work on all the time. Make sure that no one gets behind you. That's the cardinal sin of defense, not giving up the long pass. They did. Let's see how they adjust.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. And that is going to do it for this third quarter of action. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Allen going to fire quickly and get it to Diggs out wide. And all the way home for a Bills touchdown. Stephon Diggs, 62 yards. And the Bills are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead.
You have fun with this one, partner?
I am. I mean, he's been fun to watch under center.
We always talk about, getting to the next level, right? When we see people get into the zone. This guy's in the master class right now. What a performance he's putting on, just carving them up.
4 touchdown passes. Carving him up is right. Seems like everything he throws is going to be a completion. And intercepted. Maybe the turning point they need. Darius Slay with a pick. And the Eagles are right back in this football game.
It's interesting that when it comes to two-point conversions, even heavy run teams tend to throw the ball in these situations. In this case, this one was intercepted.
Yeah, they weren't fooled. They were ready for the pass, picked it off. After the touchdown, Bass to kick it away. Kicks it on the ground with a squib, taken around the 28. And they've got it up past the 35, so pretty good starting field position. The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. They had to go a long way on their last drive to score the touchdown. This time they get at least a little bit more of a cushion with field position.
I have to think that with this field position, after what they did on the last drive, they might want to take a shot right now and try and cut down the length of the drive.
And he is down deep into Buffalo territory. A big play there on the catch and run. So how about this for field position after the big play? Inside the 15 now as they come up on 1st and 10. They'll run with Sanders. And he'll be taken down here at about the 11. 2 yards that time. A stark contrast from the big chunk on the previous play. The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. Here's Hurts to throw. Out to the left there and complete to the tight end Goddard. And the Eagles are going to have a 1st and goal coming up as the tackle made at the 3-yard line. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You're down 2 scores. I don't think you need to rush just yet, but you can't take your time either.
Yeah, even if you don't want to commit to full 2-minute offense, you have to up the tempo, up the urgency. Maybe you're starting to call 2 plays in a huddle each time you snap the ball.
They're able to get a couple here, but won't get across the plane as they stop him right around the 1. 2 of their 3 red zone trips so far they've come up empty on. They'll look to reverse that trend on 2nd and he's in. Touchdown, Eagles. Miles Sanders punching it in from a yard away. And the Eagles have made it a 1-score game again here in the 4th. So how about that for an answer? They get the touchdown there, and it's back to a 1-score game here in the 4th.
And that's what these guys have done all game long because they've scratched and slashed their way to stay in this game. And by now, we should all realize they're not going away. Now the pressure again swings to their defense because they're going to need to find some way to get the ball back.
Good on the extra point, and now things get a bit more interesting here in this 4th quarter. Now touchdown. Here's Elliott on to kick it away. McKenzie now from his end zone. And they're going to start at a hole as he's brought down at the 11. The Bills come to the line to start their next drive. After the touchdown we just saw, we have a brand new ball game. And now look at the situation. You got plenty of time on the clock. Defensively, they have 3 timeouts. So do you run the football here or do you throw it?
I think you have that full conversation with your offensive unit, and you tell them, here's the situation. They've got all their timeouts, so we are not going to play this conservatively. We've got to attack them. We've got to make them use those, gain the ground that we need in order to put this game away. If you think we're just going to run it 3 times and punt it, you got another thing coming.
Yeah, and by the way, also the 2-minute warning in play, so essentially 4 timeouts left.
They have to be aggressive here.
Whistles now in a timeout defensively. So a wise move as they'll use the first of their timeouts to force one more play before the 2-minute warning. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. We've got a 1-score game with inside of 2 minutes remaining. So it's Bills football here as we get you reset. Now this is a big 3rd down, and you'd have to think we'd see a timeout right away if they can't stop him here. It's caught by Sanders. And able to get it across the 20 before they get to him. And whistles, and we're going to have another stoppage of play as they call the timeout on defense with 1:53 left. They'll run on 1st down with Singletary. And I think this defense knew what was coming as he is smothered behind the line. The Eagles will take their 3rd and final timeout as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming 2nd down play. A quick throw taken in by Diggs. And he's got Rome. And he is taken down deep in Philadelphia territory. Play there on the catch and run. A real field flipper there as all of a sudden they've got a 1st down in the red zone.
50 Cent, Mike, 50 Cent. Let's put him on the boxes. Let's put that team on the box.
So that'll back him up 5. So a little bit of a stiffer challenge now. 1st and 15 following the delay of game. Allen going to give this one to Singletary. And he's able to get this inside the 10 now to the 9. And a nice run to get him past the original line of scrimmage. A gain of 7. It's 2nd and 8 now. And Allen is actually going to throw it here on the move to his left. Cox. He's the one who's going to get credit for the sack, and he, like the rest of us, have to be saying, okay. Now the Bills are going to use the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. 7th play of this drive coming up, but a long way to go on 3rd down. And that's incomplete. Clock stops with 10 seconds left.
They went with the dive look that time on defense, just flooded the field with defensive backs, blanketed everyone, took away all the passing angles, thus the incompletion.
Here's Matt Hawk now. And surprisingly, this is the first punt of the game for either team. And he'll be out of bounds up near the 45 at the 44. We'll call that a 49-yard punt, but a net of just 39 following the 10-yard return. And there'll be time for maybe one final play before we hit triple zeros. One final shot. They'll look to throw. He's going to let it fly. And it's incomplete. So their final drive comes up empty. And with that, the ball game is over. Well, going into the final play of this game, they knew that they needed some type of a miracle there at the very end, but they couldn't get it done. However, we were treated to really a spectacular affair.
Even though they didn't finish it off, you're exactly right. They took us down to the last play. You're wondering, could it happen? Possibly, even though we both knew it was a long shot.